while you're out there testing, you're running the bike with the grays, plastic most of the time. I guess the one that had all the fancy paint job was your bike last year. You set a baseline?
Pretty much. They're pretty similar, really. They're both mainly from last year. The bodywork's more of just a bodywork test. We're using some different stuff, testing some different stuff, so it's not really entirely a new bike, but kind of some ideas we came up with throughout the year that, you know, our testing was pretty limited, so we've kind of applied them to that, but it's not really fully a 2010 bike yet, so just kind of has some test bits and pieces here and there. And
like what?
The body work for one, and then forks mainly today. We worked a lot on forks, trying some different stuff, a lot of different stuff, different ideas the guys came up with. Throughout last year, overall, that was probably my biggest area. I felt like we had room for improvement, so during off season, they've kind of put their heads together and came up with some different ideas that are, you know, pretty far away from each other and stuff. But
does that make it easier to evaluate if you can get some distance between the two and you can kind of say, yeah, well, that really sucks and that wasn't too bad?
Yes and no. It's easy to do that when they're that far apart, but then that makes it harder to bring those together into a happy medium, kind of, because they're so far apart. You don't know sometimes what could be several things causing them. So then you end up with, like today, I did 70-something laps and pretty much was just taking fork parts in and out. So it's very time-consuming. Yeah. But I think we learned a lot, made some progress. Still have stuff to do tomorrow that we didn't get to today, so we'll be busy.
How does this compare to a race weekend in terms of how much you ride and how taxing that is on you physically?
Probably physically, it's almost worse. You definitely ride a lot more than you do on a race weekend, I would think.
I only got 10 laps today.
Yeah. So, no, I did 80 laps or something today, so.
I'm going to cry any second for you. I'm going to weep.
Yeah, so I'm not sure. I never counted on the race weekend, but usually it feels like the end of the test days I'm more beat than I am on the race ones, but it kind of drags on all day, but it's all right. It's part of it. It's what you have to do. So we have a long list, long day tomorrow, so, you know, our testing's pretty limited, so when you have one now, you got to take advantage of it.
I was going to say, where will we see you again before, Daytona in March? You going to get another test in, do you know of?
They're kind of putting that stuff together now. Tentatively, I think we're going to come back here beginning of February. But also there's the whole testing rule ban thing, and so I'm not sure where we're at with that for next year and how they're going to handle it. So we also have to wait to see what the rule on testing is before we can just open up and do what we want.
Should be out by July.
Yeah, at this rate.
Thanks for chatting.
All right, no problem.